baby. What a play! Stevenson, he's in, he scores! Chandler Stevenson!
The Kraken wrapped up their 5-game road trip today in Utah. It has been a long week for the team. They started the road trip back on the East Coast and hardly broke stride as they continue to play good hockey. Welcome to Kraken-home-ice. In this episode, Eeli Tolvanen talks about how his season's been going, tells us what it's like to be representing Finland in the Winter Olympics. We're getting a behind-the-scenes look into what it's like balancing a family and hockey with Jordan and Lauren Eberle. And head coach Lane Lambert is sharing more on the team's comeback mentality and gives us a road trip recap. The Kraken wrapped up their 5-game road trip in Utah. Jordan Eberle gets it all started for Seattle. He scored the first goal of the game, and the Kraken are off to a good start. Second period, Kraken down 3-2 in the final minutes. That's when Chandler Stevenson ties it up. It's 3-3 after 2. But that's when the scoring ends for the Kraken. They get shut out in the third period. Nate Schmidt scores his second goal of the game as Utah goes on to win it 6-3. Thursday, it's the Kraken in Boston. The Bruins get off to a hot start. Marat Pustadinov skates in on Joey Decord and slips a backhander past him 54 seconds into the game. And it's 1-0 Boston. It's 2-0 midway through the first when Chandler Stevenson scores on a deflection. That's a power play goal to cut the lead to 2-1. Kraken on another power play. Second period, Brandon Montour fires a shot. The puck bounces right to Eeli Tolvanen, and he knocks it home to cut the lead to 3-2. Kraken pull the goalie, and that's when the Bruins get one final goal. David Pastrnak slides it between the pipes, and that's it. The Kraken lose 4-2. Tuesday, it's the first meeting of the season between the Kraken and the Devils. Kraken down 1-0 in the first. Adam Larsson skates in and slings it past goalie Jacob Markstrom to tie it up at 1-1. Devils go back on top in the second. Nice passing on the power play. Nico Hischier, top of the circle, fires through traffic and beats Philip Grubauer for a 2-1 lead. The Kraken counter 90 seconds later on a power play. Jared McCann gets an open look on a rebound and snaps it home to lock it up at 2-2. They go to overtime. Watch Vince Dunn wave to come off the ice. Jaden Schwartz can't get on the ice in time, leaving Hischier all alone on the break. He beats Grubauer for the game winner. The Kraken lose 3-2 in OT. The Kraken started the week in New York, taking on the Rangers Monday night. Seattle gets off to a slow start, falling behind 2-0. Then Eeli Tolvanen shifts the momentum in the second period. Freddie Gaudreau sends the perfect pass, and Tolvanen buries it. 4 minutes later, it's the captain to the rescue. Jordan Eberle snaps it home to tie the game at 2-2. Third period, Berkeley Catton cannot be stopped. He takes the shot and then gives it a second swipe, and that's enough to earn him his 4th NHL goal. 3-2 Kraken in the final seconds. Nice play by Jared McCann to steal the puck and fire it on the empty net. The Kraken win at Madison Square Garden 4-2.
It's crazy how it works. Some of the other games I thought it was, even better than the games I've been scoring. It's just, sometimes that's the way hockey works, and when they're going in, they're going in. But, ultimately just trying to get the good spots and get the puck off.
Eeli Tolvanen will be one of 4 players representing the Kraken at the Winter Olympics. He'll be joined by Capo Kakko on Team Finland. Chris Egan talked to Tolvi about his impressive points performance so far this season and what it means to him to be representing Finland at the Winter Olympics.
In alone, he scores!
Kraken forward Eeli Tolvanen set career highs in points and assists during the 2023-24 season. He scored 16 goals in 81 games. This season, Tolvanen is on pace to smash his records.
Eeli Tolvanen with a stinging wrist shot.
Try to be the guy that coaches can trust on all over the ice, and I think, that's been helping me, getting a little more ice time, and then when you get more ice time, you get more opportunities, and I feel like try to grab on those.
Tolvanen is playing the best hockey of his career, and now he gets a chance to excel for Finland at the Olympics.
It means everything. I feel like it's every kid's dream is to play in NHL, and represent your country in the Olympics or the World Championship. And, I've got to do both. So pretty, stoked about that.
Tolvanen played in the 2018 Olympics in South Korea and says he learned a lot from the experience.
I took it for granted that back then, I was one of those kids just thought it's another hockey tournament, but it was something more special. So, I think try to enjoy it more. There's, of course, the games are the big part, but just being able to feel the atmosphere around and see more of the other athletes too, and the hockey is going to be the big part.
A big difference from 2018 to 2026, the competition.
Last time I was in the Olympics, the NHL players weren't there, so I think that's going to add on a little bit of how special it's going to be. I think it's been 12 years since the NHL players were in the Olympics, so seeing all the faces from Finland and how big of a thing the national team is for people in Finland, I think it's going to be special.
What does it mean to this country to compete well at these Olympic Games and come out of there with a medal?
Yeah, I think every time people put a Finnish jersey, you're expecting to win, and I don't think this term is any different. I think we're gonna have a good team. It's one game at a time, but I expect that we have a really good chance on competing against both countries.
Tolvanen a one-timer, he scores!
Seattle hockey will be well represented in Milan. The Seattle Torrent will have 6 members at the Winter Games. Hillary Knight returns to Team USA for her 5th Olympics. Knight will be joined by teammates Alex Carpenter, Kayla Barnes, and Hannah Bilka. This is Bilka's first time being named to an Olympic roster. Julia Gosling will be playing for Team Canada, and Anita Terelova will be returning for Team Czechia. No matter if it's their 1st or 5th time at the Olympics, it's a big moment for all of these athletes to be representing their countries.
It's really magical. I think every Olympics is just so special, and just because it's 5 doesn't mean it doesn't feel like number 1. When you hear your name called, when that conversation happens, it's just pure elation.
I feel really proud and grateful for this opportunity.
I have little letters from school of what I wanted to be when I grew up, and it was playing for Team Canada in the Olympics.
I have a bucket list that my mom sent me, and it was make the Olympic team, and I was probably 8, 9 years old. Kind of a crazy time that I'm on the team now.
More to come on kraken-home-ice. Head coach Lane Lambert speaks to the team's ability to come back late in games. And we're getting to know more about Coach as he tells us about his other favorite sport and his go-tos when he's in New York. This team has proven it's never over, even when they're trailing late in games. We talked to head coach Lane Lambert about the growing confidence among his players in their ability to come back.
You never really know until you get into those situations, but we've been in those situations a few times, and we've had some successes coming back. So that can only lead to a growing confidence. There's no question about it. We just feel like we're never out of a game.
And the Seattle Kraken take a 3-2 lead.
I've talked about it before with the league. There's games, 2 and 3 goal leads aren't safe anymore. And it comes from a number of different things, but certainly if you get a 2 or 3 goal lead, the other team, I guess, to a certain extent, has nothing to lose, so they're coming at you hard. And it just becomes a little bit of a situation where at times the team with the lead can start defending or getting on their heels, which is something that we don't like to do and we've talked about.
Hey, Coach, with players getting healthy and returning, how tough does it become for you as the head coach to make decisions on lineups and working some of those guys back in?
What it is for us is it creates internal competition. There's no question about it. Guys don't want to be taken out of the lineup, and guys want to get back into the lineup. So it's not a bad thing, as long as you manage it and handle it correctly. And I think that, it's hard to take guys out of the lineup when they want to play. But you only have so many players you can play in a game, and so we're choosing and treating it as a positive. And certainly with the amount of games that we have, from now till the Olympic break and even from now till the end of January, those healthy bodies are going to be key for us going down because we're going to need people.
Okay, Coach, let's take you off the ice, away from the game for a minute. Hockey takes so much of your time. Is there another sport you follow and consider yourself a fan of?
I'm a fan of every sport, but really, if I had one, if you told me that I had to pick one, it'd be golf for sure. I watch golf a lot. My wife, there's golf on in every room, and she just doesn't, she can't handle it anymore. But certainly, golf is the thing for me. But I like all sports, and certainly I love playoffs in every sport. So I'm gearing up, obviously, for the NFL and the excitement of the Seahawks and what's going on there.
Coach, as many trips as you guys take during the season, when you get to some of these cities, is there ever a plan to do a team building event to get the players together, or is their time and you just let them do what they want?
It's a great question. I think team building is important, and I'm finding that it's a little bit different here in the West than it was in the East in terms of travel, and I'm finding that here, with the travel being so long and the time changes, that it's a little bit more their time in the Western Conference than it is in the Eastern Conference to a certain degree. But team building is huge for us. We've done things like curling in the past, and darts, and axe throwing. Certainly, there's some important aspects of team building that are really good for our hockey team.
Okay, lastly, when you go to a city like New York and you have a little extra time like you did this past week, is there a favorite restaurant you want to go to, or a food you want to have, or maybe just something you like to do in your free time?
There's certain cities that you do that in for sure. New York City is so diverse. There's just so many different options. It's incredible. There's one on every corner. But having spent, for me personally anyways, having spent 6 years in Long Island and commuting into the city on days off to watch Broadway shows and things like that, did end up going to a Broadway show when we were in New York, which was nice, and did end up going to a favorite restaurant, which was an Italian place in the city, but there's just so many of them. But certainly over the years, you do get your favorite spots you go to, and you kind of always revert back to those.
Balancing family in the middle of hockey can be hectic. But 15 seasons in, the Eberles make it work. Ahead on Kraken-home-ice, we're hearing from Jordan and his wife Lauren on family, music, and their foundation. And the Coachella Valley players who've been called up to the Kraken have been making their mark. How CV has prepared them for the NHL. The Eberle household is a busy one. But Jordan and his wife Lauren have found balance during a busy hockey season. They've made the most of their moments together. Piper Shaw has more on how the Eberles turned their passion for hockey and music into a foundation to help the next generation.
In the National Hockey League, sacrifice comes standard. And family life is often shaped by change, distance, and travel.
It's kind of just been go with the flow. I mean, we got married, and I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we got married, we got traded. So we had to find a place in New York, and then we had a daughter in New York, and then the expansion draft happened and we moved to Seattle. So you kind of just go with the flow. That's the business of hockey.
But after 15 full seasons in the NHL, high school sweethearts Jordan and Lauren Eberle have found balance between the off-season and hockey season.
I used to always joke about this with Jordan, like there was hockey Jordan and summer Jordan, but now that we have kids, I feel it even more firmly with me. In the summer, we have this really consistent, we know what Monday looks like, we know what Wednesday morning looks like, that kind of thing, but during the season, there's none of that. It's just every day is a little bit different in terms of when is dad going to be home, what's dad's schedule look like. So again, the stability kind of comes from me and the kids and creating our rhythm.
Rather than try to fight the chaos, the Eberles built a version of family life that ebbs and flows with it.
The biggest thing is just having that stability for them, and the stability is us. Because, We might move, we might be in different homes, but I think as long as they're with us, they feel that stability.
During the season, moments together can be short, but they're precious and intentional.
You know, I think the biggest thing is when you're there, you just try to be as present as possible. And I mean, the positives of it is I love during the season bringing the kids to the rink, and they come to games, and they get to see what I do. And now they're, especially my oldest daughter, Colin, she's, you know, loves coming to the games, and she's starting to understand what's going on a little more.
Since Jordan was a teen, his world revolved around hockey, and Lauren's around music.
She grew up doing musical theater, and then once she went to school, she majored in music and became a music teacher. She's taught piano and singing since I can remember.
Just as Jordan's love for hockey became Lauren's love for music became Jordan's.
Yeah, actually I bought Jordan a guitar for his, I think it was his 21st birthday, and I remember thinking this might be the worst gift ever because he might never play it. And it ended up being the best gift ever because he got so into it, and now as a family we sit around and Jordan plays guitar.
I didn't start playing guitar until I was 22, 23. I kind of call myself a campfire guitarist. I'm not a great singer, but I enjoy playing and let other people sing.
And like any great love story, the Eberles comes with a special soundtrack.
I'm a big Nickelback fan. I know people make me feel bad about it. I just love Nickelback. And she does too, actually. I think she walked down the aisle. It was like a string quartet version of Far Away. So that's kind of what I think of.
I actually have the sheet music hanging above the piano in the music room. Through the foundation, we're also able to offer that love of music and that gift of music to other kids.
Through raising their beautiful family and by bringing their passions for music and hockey together, they've created purpose with their foundation Sticks and Strings, which aims to make sports and music more accessible for kids.
We think about our childhoods and our kids' childhoods, and we're like, what are the things that help you grow, and what are the things that help you have these amazing memories that you're gonna hold into your adulthood? And we think that sports, music, reading in the outdoors cover those, but we know that the access and the opportunities of that also starts with parental support. So whether it's helping parents make sure there's food on the table, or that they have the clothes they need to get to their interview for a job that they're trying to get, or any of those things, we want to make sure that that area is covered as well.
The Kraken have been on fire, especially for the Firebirds who have been called up. That's due in large part to the Coachella Valley organization for keeping those players prepared. Brianna Vasquez shares what's been working for the CV players in Seattle.
Coachella Valley is the breeding ground for the Kraken's future. Seattle's American Hockey League team gets the players prepared to lace up for the Kraken.
For Ben Myers, high slot shot.
I think the coaches down there have been great. Last year and a half, just working with them, you know, they really push us every day, and then obviously, playing with a lot of great players down there really prepares you to, to step into this room too.
The biggest thing is we try and we focus on becoming a great pro. Their pro habits, their sleeping, their nutrition, and obviously being ready for the unexpected.
The unexpected being when a roster spot needs to be filled at the last minute. For example, last week, Oscar Fisker-Molgaard was called up right after a Coachella Valley game in California. He had to get on a flight early the next morning and be ready to play that same night in New York.
For us, we have to make sure that their game is at a point where if they do get called up, they can survive a shift in the National Hockey League where the coach can trust them to put them in those situations.
Whether it's the guys who've been called up this season or the players who've been around for a while, Coachella Valley has played a major role in their development. One great example of that is the play of the Kraken's fourth line.
They score! Ben Myers jamming, Ryan Winterton, a great job to set him up.
We're kind of just focused on playing simple and being hard to play against, and things are working out, and we're finding success just doing the simple things right.
When you're playing in the National Hockey League, you might only get 4 minutes, so those 4 minutes have to be your best 4 minutes that you have in the game.
A standout CV call-up this season has been Jacob Melanson.
Melanson in front, they score!
The forward got his first NHL point on December 29th, an assist to fellow Firebird Ryan Winterton.
Obviously, I've been with him for a little while now, so know his game and know he works so hard. So it's great to see the first one, and I'm sure there's many more.
3 games later, Winterton returned the favor and assisted Melanson on his first NHL goal.
They score! Jacob Melanson!
It's awesome to see the CV boys doing well. I mean, I know
the fan base down there is proud of us, so it's good to see.
Melanson is back in Coachella Valley for now, but made big strides during his time with Seattle.
He went up there, did a great job defensively. He's physical, and then with that physical presence, he got a chance to put some points up on the board. And so now he's starting to embrace both sides of the game and earn the trust of the coach.
It means a lot to Laxalt to see players leave the Firebirds' nest and succeed.
It's just like being a proud parent watching your kids take off and go to college, move up and move out of the nest and move on to the National Hockey League. We're very proud to produce the next Seattle Kraken.
Next, the players share that one thing they cannot live without. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what's one thing you'd have to have? In this week's shootout, we asked the players, what's the one thing they can't live without?
My dog. My family.
Pasta.
My cats.
I think my phone.
My family. Say hockey. My phone.
One thing I can't live without, my family.
Ooh, there's quite a few. Shoes.
My family. My phone. Yeah, I wish that wasn't true, but family.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess my phone.
My family.
I don't know. Can't live without dessert.
On Monday, it's Kids Takeover. When the Kraken play the Penguins, local kids will be helping out with the broadcast and in-arena talent. With the KHN team, Riker will be a booth reporter. Kennedy is going to be a desk reporter, and Kaylee will help with producing. Yeti will be working with the KJR team as a radio host. The kids will even help with the tunes. In the junior DJ role, it's DJ Lightning. Michaela is helping the in-game hosts. George will help with public announcing. Nicholas will be a junior writer, and Ashton is going to be the junior busker. And the first 5,000 kids in the arena get their very own buoy nightlight. The Kraken have been fun to watch. They're playing some of their best and most competitive hockey right now, and there's plenty of home games left before the Olympic break. And that'll do it for this episode of Kraken Home Ice. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.